Hi everyone, Kaz here. A brief explanation about today's episode. We once again ran into some annoying technical difficulties. This time it involved me saving the file incorrectly, and then GarageBand got overwhelmed. Basically, long story short, mid-recording we had to pause for about an hour or so, and by the time everything got back on track, it was quite late. But what we were able to record, I thought was actually really very funny. It certainly helped that we have a very entertaining and a great guest on this episode, so we just made the creative decision to release this episode as it is, despite the fact that the audio recording cuts off before we actually get around to talking about the movie. So we've already recorded a second episode. That episode is us entirely discussing the film Terminal. This episode, we just discuss the career of Margot Robbie and then go on multiple tangents, but because this is an independently produced podcast, we figured what the hell, we can technically release whatever we want, we're beholden to no one. So yeah, we hope you enjoy what we put down here. I had a lot of smiles while I was listening to it. Just be aware that it has a rather abrupt ending, and be sure to stay tuned for part 2, where we actually discuss the movie, and that episode is also very funny, if I do say so myself. So, without further ado, please enjoy this very special episode of Nothing Movies.
I have a grievance.
Uh-oh.
I'm mad about something.
Oh, go off, dog.
Yeah, alright. So, yesterday, they just announced the soundtrack for the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Right.
And those movies are, like, kind of consistently some of the better Marvel movies. But I think most people agree that's one of the things that endears people the most to those movies are the soundtracks.
Yeah, I mean, that was a highly successful soundtrack album when that came out. That made some serious bank, I feel like. Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's a true statement you're saying, Jameson. You're speaking truth.
Thank you. And one of the things I always appreciated about those soundtracks, being somewhat of a fan of more classic rock, yacht rock, dad rock, if you will.
I mean, they're specifically mixtapes.
Yeah.
They are.
But
they're based on the mixtape from the movie.
But what I appreciated was they brought back some of the older, maybe forgotten bands for a new generation to appreciate. And also to the point where, like, I can take my dad to see this movie because he loves trekking down memory lane, listening to these songs.
So Volume 3, they're running low. They're running out of.
Well, it's like you're saying, it's a mix. So looking through the soundtrack, they got.
Am I like?
You're allowed to
Supposed to
talk.
Oh, I was like, are you gonna introduce
Yes,
me?
I just got. We do like a quick preamble kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm sitting here.
Fancy.
Regular. Thank you so much. I'm literally sitting here waiting for them to introduce me.
I'll make this quick.
We just wanted to.
Yeah.
I was
See how
wondering.
you're gonna react. It'll be within a half an hour.
Yeah. You are the first person to be like, aren't you going to introduce me? Normally people are just like, am I allowed to talk?
I'm like waiting. Imagine always hearing yourself.
And then flip the script on them, and now they're waiting for you.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Just
she
you
holds
wait.
all the
I'm
power
going
now.
to introduce Jameson and Kaz when I am ready.
Yeah, when you're damn good and ready.
Wait, and I might just hold my ears so that I feel like I'm officially in a podcast.
Yes. Please do. Just the one of them so you can hear what your voice is.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. All right, all of this is staying in.
Yeah. All right. Back to the thing that's ticking me off. All right. So going through that soundtrack, they're featuring Heart. Awesome. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Perfect. Rainbow. Fucking badass. You know,
Rainbow.
you know, oh, that's a deep
I
cut.
love the.
That's a deep cut.
I don't like that band, but I like the fact that there's a band called the.
You know who's also included in this fucking soundtrack this go around? Florence and the Machine. The Mowglis. Fucking Radiohead. Isn't the whole point of, like, the music that Star-Lord has is, like, the music his mom gave him before she died?
But also, diegetically within the movie, isn't Peter Quill out of mixtapes at this point? Like, his mom only left him 2, right? So this must be, like, a new mixtape that he is making within the confines of the movie. I'm only assuming.
I don't know. All I know is that between Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and 3 when he was in those fucking Avengers movies. He was listening to fucking The Spinners and Rubber Band Man. So I got to imagine he and I have similar tastes in music, and I'm just disappointed that this new soundtrack is covering music from like the past 30 years.
I don't know. Maybe he found like a space kazaa or something like that, and then he finally started downloading music from the... Because that's the other thing about Guardians, is there's like a bunch of references that when you realistically Peter Quill just shouldn't get. Like he says in the first movie, like, turn a black light on here, it looks like a Jackson Pollock painting. He got abducted when he was 10 years old. How does he know who Jackson Pollock is? Anyway, these are the questions.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm taking you to task, Marvel.
I feel like I want to say more in here, but I just can't.
No,
I just can't.
No, you can jump in at any point in time. We're not going to introduce you yet, but you can jump in at any point. Any point if you have
it's like I heard. Topic. It's like at the beginning when you said you had a grievance about Marvel something. I just zoned right out.
Yes.
Like as soon as I hear the word Marvel, it's like narcolepsy. It's just like boom, and then before I know it, 10 minutes has gone by, and then suddenly I feel like I'm listening to a podcast, but I'm like, no, I'm in a podcast.
That's the kind of effect we have on people.
You never know that you're on a podcast until, oh my God, what?
It's too late. All right, one of our better intros, I'd say.
Better intros.
Sorry, oh my gosh.
This has been a 10-minute intro at the very latest. Who knows how much good stuff we're gonna get out of this? There was even a little cameo from Joel Flynn there for a while. Am I gonna leave it in? I don't know. I won't know until I'm in the editing bay. But until that time, welcome back, however you wish to self-identify, to Nothing Movies, where we ask the question, the fuck is this? It's the podcast where we go through an actor's filmography and choose the most anonymous and culturally untalked about movies that they've made, and decide whether or not they've got a certain something, or if they're just a whole lot of nothing. I'm Kaz Lesgard.
And I'm Jameson Rafter.
And today, Jameson...
Yeah.
I have bad news.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna need you to sit down.
Oh, okay.
I'm afraid it's Terminal.
Oh dear
yes,
God.
Yes, 2018's Terminal, written and directed by... Oh, I forgot the guy's name. Von Stein!
It was Von Stein because I found out that was like 2 letters away from Baron von Frankenstein.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. Oh my God! It's the
you
Mad
can't
Doctor.
Say I'm wrong.
It's the Mad Doctor. He's moved. He's moved from Transylvania and he scratched out half of his name and he's producing the most horrifying cinematic
thing
monsters. Oh boy. But no, we're talking about that because we are talking about our topic today. We always cover actors on this podcast, and today we're talking about one of the most recent actors in terms of a career. Usually we talk about people whose careers start in the 80s or 90s, sometimes even before that. But this actor's career started in the far-off year of 2013.
Yeah.
We're talking Margot. We're talking Margot Robbie.
Yeah, and even at this point, I gotta say, yeah, she's got an iconic career under her belt already.
So iconic. She was iconic the moment I saw her on that screen. Oh, my word.
Well, it sounds like our guest really wants to start diving into Margot, and who can blame her?
All right, so this is a friend of mine that I've known for many years. It's Lily Shenanigan Shmil. How you doing, Lily?
I'm doing so good. I was half expecting an audience to just go, whoa, because that's how ecstatic.
We'll pipe in a little something for you.
Thank you. Because that's how ecstatic I feel right now, and I feel like I'm on Grand Central. So actually, it's so funny that we're talking about Terminal, the movie, because we are on Terminal, the street.
That's true.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, not to dox us, but whoa.
Did you just get that? And you know what that is? Speaking of the movie Terminal, that is what they call, I'm forgetting the term.
Serendipitous?
No, it's that.
A coincidence?
No, it's when the circumstances match the... They were talking about it in the diner.
Oh, right. I wrote it down too, but we'll get to it when we talk.
Well, if any of us remembers what
Pathetic Fallacy.
Pathetic Fallacy. The Terminal movie on the Terminal Street. Pathetic Fallacy.
Wow. Our show has been described many ways.
Pathetic
but, that's the first time.
Pathetic is a new one as far as we know.
Yes. I do like fallacy though. Makes us sound slightly more intelligent.
Fallacy sounds like a really nice, like, butterfly. Like, if a butterfly was like a female body part. Fallacy.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, I'm imagining something else here, but...
I need that transcribed onto, like, my mirror in, like, quotes. So
Fallacy?
That I can, like, no, just like, if a butterfly was like a woman's body parts, and then every time I look myself in the mirror, I'm like, yes.
I'm going to look at myself in the mirror and be like, fallacy.
Where even are we? We've gotten so off track already, and we haven't even gotten into things. Lily, what drew? Oh my
I'm
God.
Jameson now.
Yeah, we're switching roles here.
Everyone switch up your roles. So Kaz, so tell us, what was it about Margot Robbie when we brought up the question of what subject do you want to discuss on the podcast? What was it that drew you to Ms. Robbie, who's so great? It's so exciting. It's been such a long time since we've talked about an actress on the show here. In general, we need to do it a lot more.
Because we're allies here.
Yes. There is, of course, like a fundamental difference when you look through the careers of male actors and the careers of female actors. Female actors have to deal with so much other bullshit. Of course, like if they are women of a certain age, the roles tend to dry up. It's a bit different now because very often if there's no roles for women in movies of a certain age, now they got to move over to TV because we've now sort of entered the era of like peak dramatic HBO TV. Well,
and then one day they host a reality show or their own talk show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what happened, and they kill it like Drew Barrymore is doing. I feel like this is already a tangent, but whatever, I go like that. The Drew Barrymore talk show is really good. She's like really good at that.
Yeah, she's really good, and I gotta watch it more, honestly, because like my this guy I follow on Instagram, Matthew Hussey, he's a relationship coach, and he was on her episode, and I really want to watch it, and I haven't watched it yet. Drew Barrymore, Matthew Hussey.
I just watch her in little like snippets. I never sat down and watched like an entire episode from beginning to end, but she pops up here on Twitter or whatever. It's just all like, Drew wore the dress from Ever After. Drew's making omelets, and you watch it, and it's all like, that's delightful. What a delightful individual. Who else is delightful? Margot Robbie.
Yeah, I was going to say.
My original question. What was it about
What do we like about Margot Robbie?
What do we like about Margot?
Because if you guys don't have an answer, I got an answer.
Should I hear your answer first?
I think she's hot.
Okay. But, so is 99% of Hollywood.
That's a big number. That's a big percentage.
It's probably higher.
It's higher than 99. Everyone is hot. Everyone is attractive.
Yeah.
On the inside. And on the outside as well.
I don't know what people have on their insides besides guts, but yeah.
Some would argue a soul.
Some would argue a fallacy.
And they'd be wrong.
It's weird, though. I mean, this is way, way off topic, that we are just like these walking piles of guts.
Oh, yeah. No, we're just bad.
And now we're talking about Margot Robbie, who is that?
Yeah.
And we're like, she's looking great for a pile of guts.
For a pile of guts.
Yeah, she's one of the better looking piles of
she's
guts we've got on this planet.
The hottest pile of guts. And what I want to say about that is the thing that attracts me to her and everybody, like anybody that I'm attracted to, it's this energy of calm confidence.
I love it when you ask Lily is all like who's like your number one? Who are like your number one and number two like crushes in Hollywood? Number one, Margot Robbie. Number two, everyone else. Literally all of Hollywood.
You're gonna
a close second. It's everybody else.
Oh my gosh, I love people who are like so confident in their own right, and I feel like people in Hollywood are, and I think that's what attracts.
You have to be to a certain to get there, to survive in there.
Yeah, and it's not to say that people off Hollywood aren't attractive and aren't confident and therefore attractive. It's I keep hitting this mic.
That's okay. Just point it out every time you do. Just for the audience at home to really hammer it home.
So
that's what's happening. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. It's totally okay.
You know what though? They will appreciate honesty.
Yeah. That's why they keep tuning in.
And they will be laughing along with me. I hope. I mean, I don't hope for anything, but I definitely.
We're going for laughs on this show, so it's all right.
I hope they laugh. I hope they enjoy.
I mean,
I know they're gonna enjoy it because those people are our people and we love them.
Yeah. There are bags of water and flesh and flopping around, sloshing around, walking down the street. Yeah.
One of the things I want to say about
so esoteric.
One of the things that I think the more the attractive bags of guts that we have walking around on this planet is when they carry themselves with so much confidence is because they are like conventionally attractive in the views of everybody else. But in the terms of acting, and I've certainly noticed this like in my day job when I'm casting voice actors for whatever projects, when they're in there for an audition, they want that job and they are projecting their best selves and they're all bright, sunny, and happy. And it's just nice to be around like a positive energy like that. So I think that kind of goes hand in hand with just projecting that confidence. And certainly I think she has that, as well as a genuine acting talent.
Yeah, and you know what? It's also that she is hot.
I mean,
I'm glad it's been a really long time since we've had
objectified a woman on this show.
Yeah, well, we try not to objectify women on this show. I think I did like a little bit of that last episode. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know. Is it objectifying to just like watch a woman in a movie and just comment on your podcast that you find her cute? That's not objectifying, right? Is it?
If that's all you talk about, I'd say maybe.
Yeah, if you bring up other stuff.
If that's all you talk about, like if it's the reason that you're talking about her, then that's objectifying.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
like, what do you love most about her? If it's
God.
just the way that she looks, that might be like.
I feel like I'm being interviewed now. Good Lord. No, I think
which is it, Kaz? 3, 2, 1. Pick one. Pick the thing.
Yeah, like the face. I don't know. I panicked.
Well, I'm just saying, for anyone listening, like that's what I would say objectifying is. It's like if your number one reason for liking or following that person is their looks,
yes.
You're only seeing them as a pile of guts, so to speak, and you're not seeing them as
everyone as a pile of guts.
Which is like the
around.
least sexy way to describe something.
Oh no.
Exactly.
That's what turns me on. That's my secret.
At the end of the day, we're all just piles of guts.
I'm picturing all of you with your clothes off and your skin off.
And your skin off.
Yes,
and no bone structure.
Yeah. Yes, you're just a pile of guts. Exactly. Well, look, no, that's not the only way I feel about Margot Robbie. As we transfer into now, we're going to talk about the filmography of Margot Robbie. And what's nice about her is that her sort of breakout happened so recently. I can actually go through basically her entire filmography, and it'll still be less long than some of the other filmographies we've covered on this podcast.
Shorter?
Yes. So I chose my words very carefully,
Right.
and I stand by them. And thank you. And it's a fallacy. So
you could have gone on about that for a little less long.
I'm just going to cut out all the information.
We're laughing. And
It's just going to be the punchiest episode we've ever
just
recorded.
Make sure you leave in all the times Lily hits the mic.
Yes.
oh my god.
I'll release that as its own separate podcast. It'll be great.
It'll be like an album of stop.
That should be the extra at the end. It should be like, and now...
Lily on freestyle drums.
You're creating so much more work for me.
Me, right now?
No.
No, it's fine. Margot Robbie!
Yeah, what about
She's
her?
an Australian actress.
Oh. Yes.
as you
I
know.
remember thinking I was shocked when I heard that she had an accent.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, what movie of hers doesn't she have an accent in?
I know, she's so good at,
Well,
like,
she has
putting on all
a
these...
very distinct voice, and you can pick it up no matter what accent she's doing. If she's doing like her natural Australian speaking voice, if she's doing like a British actress accent, if she's doing her American accent, which is very often is very heightened and through the voice of a character that I know we all know who I'm talking about, but I want to run through the filmography.
Yeah,
so I'm not
before
gonna
we get
say
to
what
that
it is
one.
yet.
It's
All
like
right.
you talking about all the accents of hers and how she has a distinct voice, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling some kind of way right now. It's hot in here.
We did warn you.
Yeah, just you wait a couple hours.
All right, so Margot Robbie, she gets started, as many Australian actors do, on Australian soap opera. The long-running Australian soap opera Neighbours, which she played Donna Friedman for 328 episodes.
God
True.
damn.
I feel like I'm on a show where I have to say whether it's true or false, and
Please continue.
and I'm like, true.
Yeah, true. This all.
Ding, ding, ding.
You guys can't see it, or you all can't see at home, but, Kaz has this book in front of him, and he's sitting in front of me, and it feels like I'm on a quiz show. Like,
Away all our secrets. I mean, wait till later. There'll be a literal quiz
a
eventually.
secrets. Oh, no.
Oh.
You are sitting closest to the
Yeah.
lab, but it does feel like an interrogation room.
I love you all. I love that Kaz thinks you're going to steal the podcast just by knowing he's holding a book. You're like, don't let them know I hold a book.
Don't let them know I take notes here.
Mm-hmm.
No, not at all. It does feel very confessional room or whatever, because we have like this one lamp here. That's very.
It's
Yeah.
literally
Sort
one
of
lamp
suspect.
pointed towards me.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in a corner.
Yeah, we got Joel on the other side of the glass.
Suspicious.
Handcuffs are out.
He says he's not listening in, but we know. We know.
He's got a button. He's got a secret button.
Oh my god.
So yeah, she's on the Australian soap opera Neighbours from 2008 to 2011. She comes back for the final episode in 2022, which they just did. She moves to America. She gets a TV show there from 2011 to 2012. She's on 14 episodes of the TV show Pan Am.
True.
Thank you very much, which is a show about stewardesses. Christina Ricci, I believe, is on that. In terms of movies, her first two movies are two Aussie exploitation films from the same director, 2008's Vigilante and 2009's ICU.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. All right, correct.
I didn't see that.
But 2013 is the year where it all changes for Margot Robbie. It's her big breakout year. She's in two movies that year. I'm going to, based on your reaction, Lily, we're going to figure out whether or not you've seen these movies or not.
Okay.
She is in the time-traveling romance About Time. I don't know. I don't know if this is true or not. No,
I don't know.
All right.
Isn't that the one with Justin Timberlake?
No, you're thinking of In Time.
In Time.
That was good too.
That's the one where he has time on his arm and time is a currency and it runs out. This is the one where Domhnall Gleeson comes from a long line of time travelers who can just go back through time if they think about it really hard. And then he falls in love with Rachel McAdams and it doesn't quite work out, so he has to keep going back and forth in time.
That's Time Traveler's Wife.
There's maybe a lot of movies that have this plot, but this one's called About Time, and she's.
I gotta watch it.
Oh, come to think of it, Rachel McAdams was also in the Time Traveler's Wife. Yeah. So there we. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what, Lily? I'm giving you a true for that one.
Yes.
That one's also correct.
All
Rachel
right.
McAdams has a type.
She's got a bit of
Time travelers.
She's got to do one more.
Lily 1, Kaz 3,706.
As long as we're keeping track. But yeah, it's a small role that she has in that. But the other movie she's in 2013 is a little film called The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Do you know how many times I've watched that movie? So, in
4?
university. No.
Let the woman talk, Cass.
All right, well,
No.
I don't know. It's a question. All right.
In university, I went to Capilano University.
Shout out.
Shout out. Yeah, they just had I went through the idea program. They're having their graduation tonight.
Whoa, my God. You're late.
Well, what are we waiting for?
We gotta go. It's a crossover.
And so, when you put on the same song over and over, some people can do this, and then it makes you work because you're kind of listening to the song and you get into the groove and it's on repeat. And if you have it on repeat for an hour, you kind of get into or at least some people can resonate with this, you get into a groove of let's say you're cleaning the house and you have the same song on repeat for an hour, you're just going to keep kind of going with the motion. It won't ever stop your drive to get something done.
Yeah, I can see that.
I always listen to different music while I'm working, but I also don't get a lot of work done. So maybe this is where I'm going wrong. Is I just need to pick a song and then stick to it.
One song that's making your heart sing or super relaxed, just something that'll get you in the zone.
I'm worried that if I listen to the same song more than 5 times, I'm gonna not like that song anymore.
It's got to be a song that you love,
Right.
that you will listen to more than 5 times.
Yeah, for my trivia game playlist, usually I'll just have a playlist of certain songs that, now that I've heard that often enough, that's how I keep my timing.
Yes,
Yeah, I know
it's
the
the
function.
timing.
Yeah.
So Wolf of Wall Street was that for me in university.
Was
I would
it the
put it. Oh my gosh. No, it wasn't the song. I would put the movie on because I went to design school, art school, and so that's a very visual medium. So when I did my homework, I needed my eyes, but I really wanted something I could listen to, and I couldn't listen to music because music gets me carried away when I'm actually using my creativity for visual. I can't also have the audio. It's a kind of one creative thing or the other.
Sure.
And so then I put this movie on, Wolf of Wall Street, because I loved it so much. And if you know me, I fall asleep during movies all the time. I know I'm the secret's out. But when I was in the movie theaters watching Wolf of Wall Street, I was just so enamored by what was in front of me that I just couldn't sleep. I was just and that's huge for me,
It's a non-sleeper.
It's a non-sleeper.
It'll keep your attention. That's an A+ movie.
It's a great movie. It's probably Scorsese's funniest movie.
Oh, I can think of maybe a couple. After Hours is quite funny.
It's certainly the funniest I remember seeing Leo being.
It's it's definitely his most recent movie. Yeah, it's a great example of Leonardo DiCaprio's skill as a comedian, something he maybe needs to lean into a little bit more. Yeah, and then Margot Robbie, she has this phenomenal little spark plug of a performance. It was such a good get for her, for a particularly not well-known actress from Australia, and this is how quickly things progressed for Margot Robbie. This is kind of incredible. So she makes that in 2013. 2014, she takes a break. She comes back in 2015 with 4 movies. 2 of them are kind of nothing movies.
Sorry, did you just say Wolf of Wall Street came out in 2013?
I know.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That amount of time, too.
Sorry.
Also, that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, and what I will say is I've been watching it so many times every year since it came out. So that's 10 years of me watching it so much. Like, I probably watched that movie 1,000 times.
Wow.
Like, I love that movie.
You can just quote the dialogue.
Yeah, it would be on in the background while I got stuff done.
What's your favorite line from Wolf of Wall Street?
Oh, I love that moment. It's like the energy of that moment where she's sitting there in front of him and they're talking about whether they're going to be friends. She's like, we're not going to be friends. You know, I use that line a lot. I use that line every time I'm out and like I'm trying to have a flirtation moment with someone. I use that line and it never works for me.
Yeah, because you don't live in a movie. Yeah, exactly.
They're like, what do you mean? You don't like me?
Lady Wolf of Wall Street was 10 years ago.
Yeah, because the scene cuts as soon as she says that. It cuts to like something else and them making out. But it's all, in real life, you have to sit there with the person after the fact. Okay, this is going to be a long episode of this podcast. So, she's in a couple of nothing movies. She's in a movie called Sweet Francais, which appears to be about French ladies having affairs with Nazis in World War II. Then she's in a post-apocalyptic love triangle movie called Z for Zachariah, which I almost picked as the movie that we should watch. Mainly because it's called Zed for Zachariah, and I love a good pretentious movie title.
Is it Zed because it's Canadian?
No, it's probably Z for Zachariah.
Oh, you're saying that.
Because it's the way I've been
Conditioned.
I'm like, ew, you're saying Zed.
I was rehearsing this on my way down here. I swear to God, I said Z for Zachariah a million times, and then I get in front of a microphone. I flip it over to Zed.
I swear to God, guys, I would have insisted you called it Zed.
All right.
It sounds more epic, Zed.
Well, yeah, I would have been screwed either way. No matter which way I pronounced it, someone would have called me on it.
No matter which way you slice it.
Oh, God.
You say Z or Zed, Zachariah.
This for Zachariah. Anyway, that's a love triangle between her, Chris Pine, and Chiwetel Ejiofor. Guess which one of them is Zachariah? Answer, neither of them. It's that kind of title. Yeah, but I took a look at the trailer. I took a look at the reviews. Kind of looked like a Maggie situation, Jameson. So, which is the new shorthand for this podcast for,
we're not doing it.
An earnest drama that we would probably have difficulty making fun of. But so those are the two of the movies that she does in 2015. The other 2 movies she's in the con artist romance Focus with her and Will Smith.
Right.
Why does that sound so familiar? Because those are like the 2 of the hottest people in my books. I would have watched that movie so hard.
Yeah, so she's in that, and then she also cameos as herself in The Big Short.
Right.
When they are explaining how the housing market works, and they naturally assume that the audience watching it...
You're not going to get it, so here's Margot Robbie in a bathtub to explain it.
They literally say, here's Margot Robbie in a bathtub to explain how the housing crisis works or whatnot.
And it works.
It works, but here's the thing, is, so, like, she gets, like, this small supporting role in a Scorsese movie, then the next movies she's in, she is above the title with one of the biggest movie stars on the planet, and she's cameoing as herself. That's wild for someone who, like, a year previous, no one knew who she was. And that's how quickly Margot Robbie just skyrocketed to stardom. She's in Wolf of Wall Street, and after that movie comes out, everyone's like, oh, this is a movie star. This is clearly a movie star. Put her above the title. Put her next to Will Smith. If we ever did Will Smith on this podcast, which, again, would be hard, I feel like maybe we could make an argument for Focus, given that right now it's a movie with one of your favorite actors, and as evidenced by the fact you can barely remember that it came out, because, it is one of those movies that came out, and truly, no one remembers that it came out.
Yeah, and I feel like I did watch it too, which...
It could be one of those movies that went in one ear and out the other.
I'm going to rewatch it. That's what's going to happen. Okay. Focus, Margot Robbie, Will Smith, let's go.
Truth. 2016, she has kind of a good year, but also kind of a disastrous year. It's kind of amazing that she survived this, because you kind of look at other people who kind of had years in careers like this, and other people didn't quite survive a handful of these disasters. She is in the Tina Fey war journalism dramedy Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Oh, that's...
I did watch that.
Yeah, that's one of those movies where it's like, it's about like a serious
Weird.
subject, but then they cast a comedian, and so like the entire movie, it's all like, oh, this isn't a big deal, and then near the end of the movie, like the big dramatic thing happens, and the comedian turns towards the camera and looks you in the eye and goes, no, it's not funny. And us as audience members go, yes, thank you, I have seen Good Morning Vietnam, thank you. Yeah, so she's in that. Then she's in The Legend of Tarzan, where she plays Jane. So sorry, well, I should have said She Jane.
What?
Huh?
She Jane? The audience is killing themselves laughing right now. You two will get it eventually. She Jane. Legend of Tarzan. You know what? I'm not going to explain it. I'm not going to explain the joke. You're going to be on your way home tonight, and you're going to be all like, ow! Moving forward. Yes, but she's in a Tarzan movie that no one remembers came out.
For our listeners that don't get the joke, what?
Which is none of them. which is all of them.
What would they Google?
Do you need me?
Yeah, Kaz, explain the joke.
Me, Tarzan, you, Jane.
Yeah.
She, Jane. I'm removing the part of the sentence where there's like descriptors, because that's how Tarzan used to talk. Me, Tarzan, you, Jane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's funny.
Isn't the joke?
That's
Isn't
really
the joke
funny.
so much better now because I explained it?
That's
The
probably
best jokes are the ones
thank
that
you.
you need to
That's
explain.
absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
probably the funniest goddamn thing I've ever heard.
Speaking of jokes, she's also in the film Suicide Squad.
You know what?
Mm?
She was the only reason I attempted to watch that movie.
She's the only good part of that movie, as evidenced by the fact that they let her play that role 2 more times.
Yeah.
I couldn't get
4 more times if you
Yeah.
count her using that same accent from Wolf of Wall Street, which is basically why they hired
It's
her.
basically her Harley Quinn voice.
Yeah.
Is her American voice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Harley Quinn was everywhere. All the girls were dressing like Harley Quinn for like a year there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Specifically the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn with like the short
Yes.
shorts and the red and
Yeah,
the black
not
and
like the
everything.
Jester outfit Harley Quinn from the comics.
Which sucks because that's the most attractive Harley Quinn is when she's in that Jester onesie.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
No, I mean, not for me.
I got a bit of a love-hate relationship with the Harley Quinn character, to be honest. But
I love the Harley Quinn character, and she's just overexposed. now.
Yes.
There's just been too much of her too soon, all at once, and we could maybe pump the brakes on Harley Quinn for
a minute.
For a minute. For a minute or two. Yeah. We maybe don't need one of them a year. Which is what we were getting.
I mean, only if that means that she then gets to use her time to be in another movie, because I don't want to meet. I'll take her in that, then not her. You know what I mean?
Like someone else in the role.
Like if
if
she's only gonna play Harley Quinn for the rest of her career, you can say, oh, at
I
least
would
I
be
get that.
so sad if that happened.
That
But yes, at least I would get that.
At least you would. Yes, that would be something.
That would be something.
Let us hope that that is not her fate.
That would be like breadcrumbing, but Margot Robbie style.
Breadcrumbing sounds very dirty.
Okay.
Is that a thing?
Breadcrumbing.
Is this a sluicy?
No, it's a term that kids these days are using.
Hey.
Yeah.
What does it
Breadcrumbing.
mean?
It's when you leave kids these days listen to me. It's like
you leave a trail so someone can follow.
No,
you.
it's like when you start a relationship with someone, but it's not a relationship in that they just keep sending you maybe a text every 3 days or something, and they're just kind of giving you just enough that you hang on to your relationship with them, even though it's not a relationship. It's just kind of a situationship, they call it. So it's like just leaving some breadcrumbs just so that you stay attached to me without saying, look, it's just not working between us.
They got a term for everything these days.
That's what the
I used to call it being flaky.
That's what the theme of Hansel and Gretel was. Is slowly ghosting someone over a period of a very long time. Hey, being flaky.
Yeah, Hansel and Gretel based off of Tinder.
being flaky, Jameson, is that just not another way of laying breadcrumbs down?
I guess it is in the parlance of our times.
Like it's like a croissant, perhaps. You're flaking those breadcrumbs off the ground.
Yeah, that would be like a croissant. That's a good call to baking.
Croissanting.
There we go.
Shout out to baking.
Shout out to baking. Shout out to bread crumbing. 2017, she gets her first Oscar nomination for I, Tonya.
Mm-hmm. Good movie.
I, Tonya, I hardly know ya.
Oh!
That's all the time we have for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, pretty good movie. I feel like that movie really set off the trend that we're seeing a lot of right now, particularly a little bit more in like long-form TV miniseries of like, let's tell this story about this person who was basically a punchline in like the 90s, and now with the benefit of context, we're going to tell their full story, and by the end of it, you'll probably feel bad for judging this person. I feel like we've got that with I, Tonya. We've got that with Pam and Tommy.
You know that's because it's the same people who made that movie,
It is
right?
the same people who made that movie. There's that Monica Lewinsky miniseries that's out there right now. Yeah, I'm sure there's other examples that I can think of, but yeah, that's like it's sort of like this rock and roll biography thing. Was all like the person you thought you knew. Yeah, but yeah, I, Tonya's pretty good, and she's pretty good in it. Then after that, she goes into a brief little period where she only seems to want to adapt movies based on classic children's British literature. This is her British literature era.
Her Brit Lit kick.
Her Brit Lit. Oh wow, Jameson. I feel like I need to give you some money for that. That was good. I'll give you.
Well, what's stopping you?
Meet me after the show. She is in 2017's Goodbye Christopher Robin, which is not the Ewan McGregor movie Christopher Robin, where he plays Christopher Robin. This is basically Finding Neverland, but instead of the guy who wrote Peter Pan, it's the guy who wrote Winnie the Pooh, and she plays his wife. It's Domhnall Gleeson from About Time, so they're reuniting. They also
feels so good.
And they also reunite for the other Britlick kick, I believe is what we're calling it here.
Sounds like you're having a stroke.
She is also in 2018's Peter Rabbit, where, of course, she is the voice of Flopsy.
Of course.
Of course, how could we forget? Flopsy and her own spin-off mini-movie, Flopsy Turvy. These are all true. I'm going to need a truth. Truth. There we go, because it's all true. This is all true. 2018, she's in a run of nothing movies. She's in 2 movies that don't exist back-to-back with Simon Pegg. She's in this movie, and she's in another movie called Slaughterhouse Rules. With a Z or a Z. I don't know. Make your choice. Make your pick.
That exists as a trailer on Netflix, as far as I'm concerned.
You didn't see that?
No.
I don't know what this
I've
movie...
seen the trailer a handful of times.
It's like a boarding school movie where they fight monsters.
Yeah.
It's a very confusing trailer. I don't know what to make of it. But I think she has a very small role in that. And then she's in a very different sort of nothing movie. She's in Mary, Queen of Scots as Queen Elizabeth I. Heard of her?
Yeah.
Yep. True. She's in, yep. Which, is like this big period Oscar movie that I think got the prerequisite like costume nomination, but ever since it came out, like who remembers Mary Queen of Scots? Who remembers that's the thing that came out?
I don't.
No, certainly no one.
Right there with you, sister.
We could technically do it on the show, but we won't because not really our not our tempo, not our
I refuse.
We could also just watch the whole movie right now. Like, wouldn't that be funny if this podcast just faded and then it went into the audio of the movie?
I mean, that's kind of close to what we used to do.
That's what we started off. We started off watching an episode of 24 and then talking over it.
Wow.
Yes, and it's evolved into this.
And then back then back then it was called what?
Our Jack Bauer Power Hour. And then I realized, Kaz's strengths lie elsewhere. And then we became, the fuck is this? And now we're nothing movies.
Yep.
Kaz's strength lies elsewhere. You're like at the gym.
His home away from home.
Yeah.
Oh yes, no, I'm always kidding. I'm a regular gym rat. Can't keep me away. I love exercise. I love.
Did you say gym rap?
I'm feeling like talking about exercise makes me want to exercise.
Okay, well then let's not do that.
Yeah. This room is gonna get sweaty enough.
All right.
No, I'm freezing right now.
Let's finish this up. How are you freezing? It's absolutely boiling.
Literally, feel my hands. I mean, they're
2019. Her hands are cold.
They're so cold.
For audience members, truth. 2019. She is in a 1930s bank robbing movie called Dreamland, where she's holding like a Tommy gun. In the trailer, it looks pretty cool. But 2019, she's also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where of course she plays Sharon Tate.
Yep.
Very small role where the first time you watch that movie, you kind of all like, wow, they didn't really give Margot Robbie anything to do in this. And then the second time through, sort of the simplicity of that performance, I think, really comes through. Because the whole kind of point of it, for those of you who haven't, spoilers for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino does his classic sort of like
revisionist
history, and Sharon Tate is not in fact murdered. And the second time through, with that in the back of your head, you just watch this woman kind of live and exist. And she goes to see one of her movies, and she buys a book, and she puts her feet up on the seat, and she smiles, and you're just kind of all like, what is this? Why am I watching this, Tarantino? And then you realize, oh, it's because she gets to live and be a person, and that's like nice.
That's nice for her.
And that's kind of like one of like the nicest things that Tarantino has like
ever done for any character in his movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Lily, thoughts on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I don't think I've seen it, and I'm sitting here wondering if I have, but it's hard because I always fall asleep in movies, right? So sometimes I feel like I've seen a movie, but only in the sense that I got through the credits.
Well, that's the Leo Brad Pitt one, where Leo is the actor and Brad Pitt's like his stuntman bodyguard or whatever. Yeah. Pretty good. Quite long, but pretty good. We've just spoiled it for you.
Thanks, Cass.
No, but all good.
And then the same year, 2019, she gets her second Oscar nomination for the film Bombshell. I don't know if you saw that one. Now I
have so many Margot Robbie
movies.
You
gotta catch up.
I have to catch up.
This is the interesting one because this is the one that's based on like Fox News and the Roger Ailes thing and everything, and lots of people in it are playing real people. Nicole Kidman's playing Gretchen Carlson, and Charlize Theron's playing, what's her name, Megyn Kelly?
One of the blondes.
One of the blonde bombshells. Not a ball blonde, as we'll find out in this movie. But the thing is, Margot Robbie is playing like a surrogate character. She's playing like a composite character of like a bunch of different people. So it's a weird sort of mishmash of like people playing people that like actually exist and are currently alive right now, and then people who are just playing like made up characters. But she got a supporting actress nomination for that. A lot of people kind of think she got nominated for the wrong movie, because that came out the same year as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I remember a lot of people saying she should have gotten nominated for the other movie instead of this one. Bombshell, not a very good movie. Kind of a real bore. I mean, watch that if you want to. It sounds like, if anything, it'll be a good sleep aid. It'll get you to that point that you need to get to.
I don't really know who is nominated for what ever, because I wonder about that show.
The Oscars?
The Oscars. Mm-hmm. Because why do I care if someone's nominated? Like, all that matters to me is that I like them or I don't like them. And I don't care if other people like what I like or what I don't like. And so that's why the Oscars or whatever, whoever gets nominated, that stuff bores me. I don't have to find out if it's good. I already know.
That's one of those things where it's like, I completely agree with you. It's so arbitrary and really pitting actors against each other. It really is the opposite of what acting should be. Acting should be like a community thing. We shouldn't be in competition with other actors. We should be lifting each other up and supporting each other. I do find the Oscars to be completely pointless and arbitrary and actually quite damaging. I fucking love them though.
Yeah, because
I've always been fascinated by them ever since I was a little kid.
I find myself just like constantly disagreeing with like whoever the winners are. Mostly agreeing with like who the nominees are, but at the same time, it's like these are just like a vanity project for one producer to brag about and maybe stir up some more funds for the next project based on their successful track record or what have you. But
what does it matter to you
doesn't.
if the person that you wanted to win, let's say, didn't win because you like them and you like them more than the others? So what does it like actually matter if they don't win? Like, does that mean that you like them less, or does that mean that you wish other people saw the brilliance?
You would be a silly person if you liked them less because they didn't win an Oscar.
It's more of a case where like, well, everyone's opinion is subjective to their own, But just it makes me wish that can't you all be winners? Can't let everybody get a trophy and this sort of thing?
Exactly, because everyone is so different and beautiful because of it. And how can you give a trophy to someone who's like a little bit more different? Like, what is more different anyways? Yeah. I mean, I know that they're superstars, but we all are.
We're all just bags of guts at the end of the day.
Best supporting bag of guts. That's the next trophy that they gotta give out. This is a dangerous tangent to go down, Lily. I gotta veer us back on track just because we are so close to the end of Margot's filmography, and then we can talk about Terminal. 2020, she's in a movie that just escapes the lockdown. It actually made it to theaters before everything shut down. The second Harley Quinn movie, Birds of Prey, pretty good, I think.
I saw it.
Yeah,
I did, but that was so wild.
That was.
When was it?
2020.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That feels like it was 10 years ago.
2020 was a full 80 years ago.
And really Wolf of Wall Street feels like it was 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. Man, they completely robbed that Harley Quinn character of not showing her having that abusive relationship with the Joker in this whole cinematic universe.
Yeah, but
they went right ahead to like independent girl power Harley Quinn, which is awesome. But at the same time, like you gotta show the malice that the Joker inflicts on her.
But then they would have had to have brought Jared Leto back, and no one needs more of that. I'm perfectly happy with them doing all of that off screen and in an animated segment, which is what they did in that movie. Because
I mean, fine. I mean, whatever.
So next year she's in 2 sequels. She, of course, the fan response is overwhelming. She's back as Flopsy in Peter Rabbit 2.
Thank God.
But she does back-to-back Harley Quinn movies because she's in The Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
An all-important separating these 2 movies, which for you, those of you keeping track at home, is the good Suicide Squad movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's the one with the big starfish and Idris Elba.
So there's a movie called Suicide Squad.
Yes.
And there's a movie called The Suicide Squad.
Just to fuck with you. Just to fuck with you
this
specifically.
This is why I was like, are we all living in a parallel universe? Like, did this not already happen? And no, everybody was acting like it didn't already happen.
I mean, that kind of happened. They did release a terrible Suicide Squad movie, and then like less than 5 years later, they released another better Suicide Squad movie, and everyone kind of just forgets that the bad one happened.
Oh.
Except that was the one that introduced Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, so you kind of have to remember that it happened.
It also made way more money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And its success is definitely, and Lily, this will be a moment where you can take a quick nap because we're about to talk about comic book movies. Truth.
Got it.
Truth. I'm going to be doing that now. That's my new thing. I'm stealing that from you. That's without a doubt the movie that sort of spearheaded James Gunn's current role as the head of DC. Because he made that movie and now he's the star. All right, cool. Moving on.
I thought for sure Margot Robbie was going to like retire from the role after that movie. I kind of hope she does.
Look, she doesn't have any Harley Quinn stuff in the docket, so she's probably taking a break for a while. I think maybe even Margot Robbie realized 3 Harley Quinn movies in 6 years is enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. We're good. We don't need more.
I just want to clarify that Marvel movies are an amazing piece of work and art, and like just the visual spectacle of them, beautiful. It's really just like the plot and like the notion and the idea of it that I just cannot pay attention to for whatever reason. And it's like I don't like, I'm not saying that Marvel is bad by any means.
It kind of destroyed cinema, but I mean, like I'm gonna buy a ticket to all of them anyway. But also, it's kind of like the death knell for how everything works. You will not be pleased to learn, Lily, that in addition to the stories, the visuals are now terrible in Marvel movies as well too.
Also, they treat their VFX artists like dirt.
Absolute garbage. Yeah. But last year, 2022, she's in 2 movies that are both set in the 1930s. She's in one of the biggest boondoggles of last year, one of the biggest cinematic flops. She's in the film Amsterdam. I don't know if anyone in this room even remembers that happened. That is the I saw that movie in theaters. I do not think I would be able to tell you the plot of Amsterdam, but it's a big ensemble.
What were you doing the whole time?
Sleeping. I was okay. So I'm gonna try. So Christian Bale and John David Washington are 2 like soldiers and buddies in World War I, and they both get injured, and they go to a field hospital where Margot Robbie plays a nurse. Robbie and Washington fall in love, and Christian Bale's like their best friend, and they're like this inseparable trio, and they go to Amsterdam, and they're cool bohemian people, and then something happens and Margot Robbie has to go back to her wealthy socialite family, and then 10 years later there's like a mysterious cover-up. Bale and Washington get blamed for the
Is this
murder
a Marvel
of a
movie?
socialite.
No, it's not a Marvel
movie.
I'm starting to zone out. Oh no.
Yeah. But like there's tons of people in it. Taylor Swift gets murdered. She gets pushed under a car.
Oh my gosh.
Who else is it? Chris Rock, Robert De Niro.
You remember more about this movie than you realize.
I remember the cast, but I couldn't tell you. I've only told you like 20% of the plot.
He's like,
That's
I'm only
20%?
20 minutes
It's
in.
wild.
Hang on, we're
but
going for an hour.
No. Describing the plot of Amsterdam is a full episode.
Where are we at with the timing of this, by the way?
Well, it doesn't quite work because we also took like 10 minutes there for Joel to give us water. I don't know. We're over. But the more successful period movie that she's in is the film Babylon, which is...
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of what you're doing right now.
Lily! Number one guest.
Can we get you back more often, please?
My God, these are the jokes we have
Damn,
been
girl.
missing.
Coming
Yes,
with jokes.
indeed, I have been babbling on. I have been babbling on this entire time, and you know what? That's a great movie. You should all watch it. I don't have anything else to say about it. 2023, this year, she's got the next Wes Anderson movie, Asteroid City. She has a small role in that, but none of that's important because the main thing that she's got coming out this year is she's fucking Barbie.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I can't watch that movie.
Why can't you watch that movie?
It would be just overly stimulating. It's the same reason that I haven't been able to watch that. Oh shoot, the one with Emma Roberts and Ryan Reynolds.
La La Land.
La La Land.
Yes.
Every time I watch that movie, I'm 5 minutes in. I'm literally at the scene where they're dancing on the cars. Like, you know, if you've seen that movie,
That's
that's
like
the
the first
opener.
thing that happens,
The
yes.
first thing that happens, and I can't even get through the song because I'm so overly joyous by watching those two just dancing and everyone's singing, and it's like, do you ever, like, some people, for example, don't like to watch shows like This Is Us because they're like, oh, I get so, like, so sad, so emotional, which I love watching This Is Us. I love it for those reasons. But for me, La La Land is like the opposite of that. Like, I can't watch it because it makes me so happy that I feel like I'm going to explode. So I just, like, don't watch it. And that's what that movie...
Because you can't stand to be that happy.
It's just so much.
You need to level it out.
Like, I cried a little bit. And I was like, I gotta not watch this.
Have you made it through La La Land?
No, I haven't because it's too beautiful. I can't...
You sound like a really fun person. I'm not gonna lie.
If she stays awake or stays in the room, that is.
Well, that's the test. It's got to be beautiful.
It's fortuitous timing that we're recording this episode today because today the new Barbie trailer just dropped, and I do have to admit, I was a little overstimulated just looking at the trailer. Like, it's very
so much pink.
so much pink.
Oh,
so
you
much
mean like
specifically Barbie pink. There's a great, like, one of the first things that happens in the trailer that I love, and I'm kind of excited for the tone of this movie, is we get a shot of Margot Robbie's feet walking in the heels, and then she takes the heels off, but her feet are still pointed up like a Barbie's would be, and then she just keeps walking, and I guess that's how this character walks in this movie. So that's I don't know. I'm kind of into it. Look,
or it might just be her coming home. Maybe she just tiptoes
kick
out
it
of
off.
her,
Yeah,
and then eventually she'll walk like a normal human. But that might just be an homage to Barbie's way of walking.
No,
you know
I
what
want
mean?
no.
This is a toy universe.
I
I
want
think.
all of these.
toy
I want them to bring foot binding back just for this movie. That's what we do. We're gonna.
I can't wait for if she takes off Ken's pants and there's nothing down there. Like, if you're saying that there's a toy.
It seems like the kind of movie that's going to do that.
That's
Like,
gonna
I think
do
this is
that.
going to be one of those movies that, like the Lego movie, it's a lot better than people were expecting it to be.
Yes, and even
it-
still, I couldn't get through it. Damn it! It was so good, but I kept falling asleep.
Yeah.
There's a I haven't gone through like the entire list of movies that are coming out this year, but there are 4 movies that I've earmarked as they either have come out or are coming out in 2023. This year we're getting Barbie, we've gotten Dungeons and Dragons, and we're getting a Super Mario movie and a Tetris movie. These are all movies that are coming out, and it's all like hobbies from the 1980s. Kind of wild. It's kind of I guess Barbie's earlier than that, but still, it's interesting. It's like someone grabbed like a Toys R Us catalog and then just like start earmarking. It's all like, that's a movie, that's a movie, that's a movie, and it's all like, yeah, we're gonna get the fucking Etch-a-Sketch movie.
Play with expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
Snakes and Ladders, the movie.
Because it's like, as adults, we don't buy toys anymore, but we like to
some of us do.
Some of us do, but I'm saying I'm not going out and buying an Etch-a-Sketch, but I still enjoy the energy of an Etch-a-Sketch, so I would go watch a movie that's about it. And so I see where the concept is coming from, because there needs to be something other than Marvel.
We need to.
We would need to exchange one toy commercial for another.
No, I think I'll be alongside Marvel. I think Marvel will be big, and this kind of 80s genre time machine movie
Nostalgia fest.
Nostalgia, whatever it is going to be
coming
also
this
big.
summer. Jeremy Renner as Rubik's, the amazing cube.
And I don't mean to sound cynical about it. It's just really an excuse for kids who grew up with that in the 80s. Now that they've grown up and they have kids themselves, it's like, come on, kids. You want to see the Mario movie, don't you? Like, no, Dad, we want to go and play outside. Shut up. We're going to see the Mario Brothers movie.
We're going to get it, and we're going to download it to the phone so you can watch it on your phones.
But that's what's beautiful about movies from that time, because it's like we didn't have phones. And, there's not a lot was documented of the time except for in our hearts. Mm-hmm. And so, like, when you watch a movie and you see, oh my gosh, I remember having a bowl like that. Like my mom, like they're so good at finding sets and props and creating them, and you get to see what that time was like in our lives because we didn't get to document it. Like nowadays, everything's documented.
That's right.
I wonder what movies are going to be like when they realize everything's documented. Just go on.
Oh, I mean, in 20 years, movies are going to be like 10 seconds long.
They're going to be experiences, like just playing it in my head.
What a 10 seconds, my God. All right, we got to take a break. We got to start talking about Terminal. I'm very excited to talk Terminal with you, Lily, because I think you've become my new favorite person to talk about movies with.
Aww.
But before we do that, I must know, what is your quick elevator pitch for an Etch-a-Sketch movie? Give me like the 10-word log. I'm bad at this. I don't know how pitches work, but just like, how would you do an Etch-a-Sketch movie? Have I put you on the spot?
I'm just thinking.
Okay.
You might have to edit out my thinking.
No, all the silences stay.
Because I really want to answer this in a way that's great.
You kind of just gave her like a massive writing prompt, like a 24-hour film festival, and go. But you have like less than 10 seconds to do it.
I don't know. I wasn't expecting
What
that.
kind of bullshit Hollywood movie producer would you be? You just find someone in an elevator and like, you go. Here's this property I just got some rights to.
I would say
that's how elevators pitch. You find someone in an elevator and you corner them and you say, "Pitch me a movie."
The people with the
Let
idea sell their pitch. It's not someone say like, "You pitch me a movie." It's they have an idea that they're coming to pitch to you.
Lily,
I think it would be. My pitch to you would be like, if only love was an Etch-a-Sketch.
If only.
If only love was an Etch-a-Sketch.
You could shake away the bad memories.
Yeah. And it's inspired by my favorite poet, Andrea Gibson. And they them pronouns are just so good with their words. And one of the portions of their poem says, "Good thing love is an Etch-a-Sketch."
Oh.
And that line just really struck a chord with me because it's like, in a way, you're drawing this story about your life, right? Mm-hmm. And then you start drawing it with someone. You each have a knob, and then eventually it just you just shake it away, and then you have to kind of restart. And you start alone, and you're going, and you're starting to draw your life again, and then someone's gonna come along and like then have the other knob. And so like love is kind of like that. It's like an Etch-a-Sketch. Like it's so alive, and it's there, and it's so there, and then it's not.
And we're just all looking for someone to twist our other knob.
We gotta find a way to condense this down to 10 seconds for an elevator pitch.
Like, I'm vertical, you're horizontal. How are we ever gonna work? Oh, we meet in the middle. Look at that. There we go. This was great. This went on, for you listening at home, this went on for like a full 20 minutes. But no, we'll cut around it. Yeah, we'll take a little break now. And when we come back, we will start talking about Terminal. This may be the longest episode we've ever recorded, but that's fine.
We're going to find out.
We're great. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Today's charity is Bullying Ends Here, based out of Calgary, Alberta. BEH is a charity where all ages, backgrounds, ethnicities, sexualities, religions, and everyone else can be heard and assisted. Bullying Ends Here has been requested around the world for its award-winning lived experience presentations. They also cover other important topics such as workplace bullying or social media/cyberbullying. Bullying has become one of the biggest problems of our time. With the introduction of the internet, bullies can now go anonymous and attack their victims at any hour of the day. Led by Canada's #1 anti-bullying police officers, Bullying Ends Here speaks directly to youth about the effects of bullying and the connections to mental illness. Their life-changing program is multifaceted and long-lasting. They're constantly advised that they have the best presentation ever seen all across North America, and they pride themselves on keeping in touch with those who need someone to talk to. Having directly presented to over 1.1 million youth in only 7 years, they are now credited with saving over 60 lives. If you would like to make a donation to Bullying Ends Here, please visit the link in our show notes, go to www.canadahelps.org and search for Bullying Ends Here. All right. And
we're back.
Bag of
Yeah.
podcasts.
So,
Guts.
wait, what? We're back to welcome to Gutcast, where we talk about the guts that are inside all of us, the guts that are inside you, and the guts that are inside me, and
that's
welcome
Jameson.
and that's Jameson. Welcome back our guest, bag of guts and skin. So,
Kaz, let's stay on track here.
let's stay on track.
My
We're all
name
even.
is Fallacy.
Your name is Fallacy. So, Terminal,
Yeah.
written and directed by Baron von Frankenstein. No, sorry, von Stein, which is you've ruined it for me now, Jameson. This
That's
guy,
my shtick.
yes, that's what he does. This guy's directed 3 movies. I've seen 2 of them, and I can confidently say he is one of the worst directors currently working right now. I do not care for his films. The other film that he directed and wrote that I saw is a film called Inheritance, which stars Lily Collins as a young woman whose father dies. We were
I'm
speaking.
like, I did what?
Oh my gosh! I didn't even realize that. Yes.
Lily calls in who?
Collins. Yeah.
Lily.
Yeah.
But her father dies and she gets an inheritance, of which includes a key and an address. And she goes to the address and she opens it up and she finds in the basement her father has been keeping a man captive for 20 years. And the man in the basement, of course, is played by Simon Pegg. So Simon Pegg cannot stay away from this guy. He really should, though. That movie's bad, and we were just speaking off mic, or maybe I'll splice it in, who knows, because I was still recording. We were speaking off mic about The Emperor's New Groove, and her father is played by Patrick Warburton. But don't get too excited because he's barely in the movie. And every time it flashed back to him, I was just saying, like, this is the movie I want. I want Patrick Warburton keeping Simon Pegg in a basement for years, and I want to find out why. But, so he made that terrible movie, and then he made a movie I haven't seen called Every Breath You Take, which is kind of funny. One movie he has Phil Collins' daughter, and the next movie he makes a song using a Phil Collins lyric. But that's a movie about a psychiatrist played by Casey Affleck whose patient commits suicide, and then the brother of the patient starts getting a little crazy and starts doing thriller stuff to the psychiatrist's family.
I love that song. No, I don't actually, but
Every
I
Breath You
loved
Take?
the
Yeah.
Thriller.
Oh, Thriller. Oh, yes. A bit of a problematic fave there.
It's
For reasons. Yeah.
it's not my favorite by any means. No. What I like about that song is the energy in the room when it comes on and everyone's like, "Thriller," and everyone's just like vibing.
Oh my God, Jameson, you have to keep us on track.
Oh, do I?
Because I'm gonna vibe with what Lily is putting down.
All right, so settle down, you two. It's time to talk about Terminal.
Okay, let's talk about Terminal.
We talk a lot for people who run a podcast.
Talking term is what we're doing. Yeah. So, Jameson, you were furiously scribbling something down right before we hit the record.
Yeah, I promised myself that before the episode started, I was going to write out a timeline of events that happen for this story, because it jumps around a lot. The narrative forgets parts of itself, and then it has to double back and explain it, and then the movie carries on, and then it's in a real fucking hurry to wrap itself up.
Oh,
in
boy.
the
Now let me
last
ask
15
you: did you
minutes.
take notes about the timeline first time you watched it, or did you go
Just
back?
while you're out in the washroom? Yeah, I finished up the timeline.
This is yet
No,
again.
I'm saying while you're watching the movie. Were
I
you
didn't
taking
think I'd
notes?
need to.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then midway through, you were like, "Oh shit, I really should have been doing that." Yes, this is another movie. This I feel like 2 movies in a row that we're watching that are inspired somewhat by the films of Quentin Tarantino or Guy Ritchie. It's another British-based caper. It has a twist. It's like a combination of movies we've been watching lately. This is yet another movie that hinges on a big surprise twist. And I guess we should ask the room right now.
One that's more contrived, and one that's a little more obvious. Like,
So do we want to
spoil?
peel the Band-Aid off right now and talk about what happens, or do we want to keep the mystery as we try to parse out this? Because we're going to spoil everything.
I say there's...
Lily, you've already said you don't listen to the show, so what we do on the show here is we spoil everything.
Oh,
We
no.
spoil movies for people, is what we do.
We're taking that bullet for other people so they don't have to subject themselves to this same
That's
movie.
okay, though.
Do you approve?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if this should be cut, what I'm about to say, but I just want to clarify that, like, I feel like...
I mean, like, I can't cut it if you don't speak into the microphone.
I feel like your feelings are hurt by
No.
me saying that I don't watch the
Oh, no, God, no. The majority of people we ask to be on this podcast don't listen to the podcast. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't listen to the podcast. It's fine. It's totally fine. No.
No,
It's
you edit it. I don't listen to the
That's
podcast.
true. I mean, I listen to it when I edit it. And I also
Exactly.
listen to it now as it's coming out of my mouth.
That's my least favorite thing to say is edited it.
Edited?
Edited it.
It's like a banana because you never know where to stop.
Yeah.
Jameson!
Less long. All right, so set in a world that takes place entirely at what seems like an abandoned train station.
Yes.
Where, like, trains don't run 24 hours, and yet the station is open 24 hours.
We don't know what year it is. We don't even really know where we are.
Like this perpetual nighttime kind of environment where like the underbelly of society just kind of like surrounds this one dingy train station, and these degenerates are coming in and out of the train station and going to the underground nightclubs that surround it.
I believe you mean the train terminal, Jameson. Very important to get that
If we
terminal.
want to keep this clicking along, you
Sure.
can't correct me
Technology.
all the goddamn
What
time on
made
this.
you think I wanted to keep this clicking along? No, I think like the important.
You
thing-
just said Jameson, keep us on track.
Well, who's derailing us now? Because I had a thought.
Whoa.
The thing
Shut
is,
your mouth, Mr. ZZ.
There's basically
The puns.
the puns.
There were so many puns there. It was like I was taking pun bullets.
The thing to remember is that there's basically like two parallel stories happening in this movie. Like two.
One more interesting than the other,
Two
I'll
and
say.
a half. Because like the Mike Myers storyline kind of interjects with the other ones.
Do you know what the name of my microphone is?
Is it Mike Myers?
It's Myers.
It's just Myers? It's just Myers.
Yeah, this is my Mike Myers.
This is your Mike Myers. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, Mike Myers is in this movie.
Yes, this is a full decade from the last time that he was in a movie. He had a small role in
Inglorious
In
Bastards.
In Austin Powers.
I mean,
that wasn't a small role.
That was the smallest role. Have you seen his thing?
he's not small at all. He plays
He's like multiple
He
characters.
plays it, one of whom is a big fat man. There's nothing small about him. He's just
Are you thinking of Mini-Me?
Did you notice me? No, I am. I know. I'm doing a joke.
Oh, okay.
It's like Austin Powers
I'm
in the
doing
movie
a
Austin
goof.
Powers.
Yeah.
It's just a little
Yeah.
part
It's
in
just
Austin
a little
Powers.
gag because it's funny because he plays the titular character Austin Powers.
Exactly.
No,
Okay.
this was
And the best jokes are the ones we have to explain,
Of
as
course.
we've learned.
As we've learned. This is what
I
we've
see.
learned on this.
So it was at this moment that the computer totally had a meltdown, and here we are.
This is going in.
Yes.
This is making the episode.
This is making the episode, and here we are, standing in front of a computer while things are exporting. We just don't, and we've been here all night.
I just want to preface. This is Cass speaking, by the way. I just also want to say, I really don't want to get. We get. I don't want us to get into the habit of always really, because we have just like 2 episodes ago we released an episode that was like a weird like piecemeal episode where we had to we lost chunks of the dialogue
Yeah.
and then we came in, so it's all it would be nice if we could just really get one of these straight all the way through.
Right.
Remember
Consider it the prequel.
the prequel? Oh, no, hold
it's
on.
all
It's
going to be the same episode.
Hold on.
We're not releasing it.
Hold
in
on.
parts.
I want to
It's a
say
good thing
something.
I wrote up the timeline, right, guys?
It's pathetic fallacy. You know why? Because nobody saw that this was going to be a 2-parter until the very end.
It's not a 2-part.
We haven't even gotten to the part of the movie where we have to explain why there's no term.
And that's exactly why they're going to return for part 2.
All right.
Okay, toodles,
You know what?
noodles.
You know what? You know what? Fuck it. It is 2-part.
It is
It's
a
a 2-part.
two-parter.
It's a
Yeah.
2-parter
See,
now.
I
I wasn't
told
planning
you.
on doing it, but we're doing it. It's
you-
Terminal Part 1 and
You
Terminal
forced our
Part 2.
hand, Lily.